What's up, everybody? So feels intimate. You're like in the bed with me or something. I'm here in the hotel room in St. Lucia, and it's very interesting. I'm writing the next book for Arashti Bazaar. This is my first time going live on my laptop versus my cell phone. I guess the camera's up there, so I'll look up there. And I'll try to keep this super brief. It's just some thoughts that are coming to mind because of recent occurrences. It's so funny. A lot of the women here, they come up to me because I guess guys do too. No, not a single guy has. So it's, yeah, everybody that's come up to you is a woman, but it's because, check this out. Oh, here it is. Okay. Check this out. So here in St. Lucia, this is the activity guest presenter, Krista Vilbus, and that's obviously me right there. No, but seriously, you flip it, it says some things, but there I am, you know? And in this particular pamphlet, there's other people, other photographs, but I'm the first one that comes up. So somehow I'm like the special guest. I didn't realize I was a big deal. And so I'm the big deal here. And so people have come up to me, probably 6 women have come up to me, and I got here less than 24 hours ago. They're like, oh, I recognize you, like your yoga, and then they want to talk about yoga. In like all of them, I think all of them, somehow it came up, masculine, feminine, this idea of masculine, feminine. And I intentionally, sometimes I slip up, but intentionally I say masculine and feminine instead of man, woman, men, women. Because masculine, feminine is not limited to human. Masculine, feminine is everywhere. It's all. All is masculine, feminine. If you name it, it has a masculine or feminine quality, and I could talk about it. And sometimes I slip up, but most of the time I'm talking about that. Now I'm remembering earlier one particular conversation I want to talk about, and I said something to her about what was it? Masculine, feminine, empathic, somehow being empathic. I said something about like feeling the emotions of other people. She was talking about feeling the emotions of other people. And I said something about that was very feminine of her. I was trying to compliment her, you know, because I admire when I meet women that have like femininity. And I think sometimes it gets almost like metaphorically beaten out of them. Like they somehow have learned to not acknowledge the femininity in them and label things as feminine, and somehow that's weak. And sure, it's the weaker gender in everything. But like the lady said, she had a great analogy. It's true, you know, left wing, right wing on a bird. If one wing's really stronger, it's going to like topple or veer off, or it's not going to fly straight, right? You got to have both sides. Yeah, men, women, they're both sides. Masculine, feminine, it's both sides. And it would not work if it didn't make the whole stronger. If both didn't get stronger by pairing or mixing and matching, mixing it up and creating something, then it wouldn't be a thing that happens in nature. You know, nature is trying to survive. Whatever the other strategy is would have won out. You know, so the fact that there's that duality means that it beat the other method, whatever that was, 3 genders or no genders or whatever. So she says something about feeling the environment. I said it's so feminine. And she's like, she basically tries to argue with me. And I'm seeing now how she was not arguing with me. She was arguing with what she was hearing, which was not what I was saying. I wasn't saying men, women. And it's basically something about how like men should be empathic too, or something like that. Or why do women only have to be empathic? Why is it only that women are supposed to be empathic, kind of thing? And well, it somehow came down to my sentence was something like, why? I just kept asking why. I was just like, why? Why should something about men should talk about their feelings? Why? Well, because it shouldn't just be women that are supposed to talk about their feelings. Why? Why? Like you're putting a philosophy out there of like, this is what, see, you got to get that. My philosophy is everybody do what you want. And I'm just talking about my philosophy. That's it. My philosophy includes nothing about what other people should do. And if it does, point it out to me because that's hypocritical of me. It's something that I just notice and I kept weeding it out. Every time I find it somewhere where in my ideas of when I'm like describing something, like let's say how to do yoga or how to date or how to win at life or how to sell or all of these things, like shoulds are always met with like the reason why, and it should very clearly be beneficial, or it's do what you want. You know, like you should give a time constraint when you first approach somebody, either in dating or in sales, because their genetic instinct is how long is this person going to hang around? You ever get approached by somebody on the street? The first thing you think is, how long are they going to hang around me? Like, and if the first thing they say is, hey, real quick, like that's it. That's a time constraint, you know? So you should do that. But, should a man be dominant? Should a female be dominant? You don't want to compete with me if you're trying to be dominant. You don't want to be a woman trying to compete with me if you're trying to be dominant. Unless you're in a social situation, because I'm just going to back down. You get it? I'm just going to surrender. Like, I'm not going to submit, but I'm definitely going to surrender. If you have me in a public situation where there's a lot of people around and you're a woman and you want to prove how dominant you are, I'm just going to walk away. And it doesn't prove how dominant, it proves how like bullying you are. The society and nature is organized to protect you. And if I were to raise up against you in a public situation, I would lose. Like, what am I going to do? No. But how happy are you really? Like, and it came down to like one contrast a woman made, or I made with a woman, and she saw it. I think she saw it, and other people actually came up to me and were talking today about that woman that was following me around yesterday. And everything, I was like, hey, come over here. And I would walk over there and she'd walk over there. I was like, all right, I'm going to go over here. You want to come? And she would come over there. And finally, I was like, I need to teach my apprentices, but that's up in my room. I don't expect you to come to my room. And she's like, no, I'm not going to come to your room. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And the datum was this, that given the opportunity to make all the money of my heart and dreams, all of my desire, or have the greatest relationship ever, like personal, intimate relationship with a loved one, my woman, I would choose the money every time, 100% of the time. Like, I don't even contemplate it. You get it? Like, I don't even, like, and you might think, well, that's the wrong decision, Chris. And the point being that generally, if you're a woman, and I asked you that same question, to the heart, your heart's desire, your greatest relationship ever, like the best it could possibly be, or all of the money and career aspirations that you desire, manifesting those. If it had to be one or the other, which would you choose? We value things differently. There's another lady here. This is just kind of like lessons learned. I'm definitely going to cut this at 10 minutes, guys. So if you got a question, type it. So 2.5 minutes. It was the lady that walked me to the door. It started right when I got here, guys. Like, as soon as I got here, and she's saying something. It was somehow related to like wearing makeup or something like that. And she was wearing makeup, which was unusual. Most of the people that work here who are locals, so they're kind of black, native, Portuguese-looking kind of people. But no, most of them aren't wearing makeup. But she had her face on, and it done well too. And I say something about how I don't remember if I used masculine or feminine or men or women, but I was like, the feminine is valued more for their beauty. And that stimulated something in her, like all her feminist education. Well, it doesn't need to be that way. A woman doesn't need to grow her hair long. A woman could cut her hair and not wear makeup and do fine. And I'm like, okay. So I did say masculine, feminine, because I remember immediately being confused. Like, I didn't say women, but immediately they hear feminine and they think woman. And then they have a problem with that woman is more an expression of feminine than man. So, whatever, that's their hang up. So I say to her, I'm like, okay, well, look at it. It's like, okay, if I look at all of the jobs and careers in the world that beauty is valued, I'm going to go over 10 minutes, fuck. Where beauty is the thing valued. If you look at tonight, guys, I teach on the silent flute. I'm going to go so much deeper into it. This is just like surface thoughts. Okay, so go to ninthlimb.com if you want to sign up for silent flute and get the whole archive. I'm going to blow your mind in silent flute. So you want to do that. So I'd say look at all of the jobs in the world that the beauty is what's valued in a human, right? So we're looking at models, we're looking at strippers, we're looking at actors, we're looking at pornography, we're looking at what else? Fitness model, it's a model. They're dominated by women, every one of them. It's like one guy for like 20 women. Yoga teachers, shit, it's hard to be a guy yoga. And you might say, well, it's because of these ideas you're teaching. First of all, I don't really teach these in classes because people got to get physically well before they're ready to process information. Discomfort, agitation in the body is going to agitate every piece of information and data that comes in. It's going to get interpreted as agitated, agitative, and they're going to associate their inner feelings, how they feel, with the data that's coming in. You ever get someone that's arguing all the time and everything that you say they want to argue with? It's because they actually inside they feel like an argument. And so everything that they sense and perceive, it becomes interpreted as argument because they don't distinguish that they're feeling something is different from the data that's coming in. So yoga is definitely fixing this, but also learning distinction, how to discern that, I'm feeling something that's probably unrelated to the data that's coming in. So let me interpret the data like a scientist, like a computer. And my feelings, I handle that a different way. So yeah, modeling and yoga teaching and actress and strippers and pornography, and it's just female dominated, completely, because beauty is valued there. And obviously, if you look at money and power, men dominate, when it comes to that. And you might say that's because the system is set up that way. Well, if the system is set up that way, why aren't more men strippers? Why aren't more men, getting paid for the beauty of their face and the symmetry? They're not, because you don't have to. There's no bribing or coercing the customer into believing that men and women should be equal or that they are equal. They're not equal. They're different. They're different. -2 does not equal 2. You get that? -5 doesn't equal 5. You might say, well, it's just as important. Well, it's great, but they're opposites. They're different. And so I say to her, okay, so yeah, a woman can totally cut her hair short, not wear makeup, and that's fine. And, not shave her armpits, not do that kind of thing that, what is that? Cultural conditioned kind of thing. That would be like, let's say she's pretty. Let's say she's got great bone structure. Like genetically, she has everything that, most women have. She's just not presenting it in the way that culture is pressuring her to, or whatever her reasons are. And that would be like me as a man being really fucking smart and people wanting to give me college scholarships and, apprentice me like, hey, bro, I'll pay to train you. I'll pay you $12,000 a quarter to train you for 1 year, 12 months, and then you'll make $80,000 a year because you'll have the knowledge that I need you to have, but you're smart. You got what it takes. Just stick with the training. And I'd be like, hey, don't just value me for my mind. And then I dumb myself down and I stop solving problems and I stop beating people at chess and I stop, solving riddles and crossword puzzles. And I stop demonstrating how smart I am by pointing out, things that just only smart people can point out because not smart people don't see those things. It would be like me dumbing myself down so that you value me less because I'm just like a piece of meat to you kind of thing. That's how I feel sometimes with my knowledge. People come to me and they're like, they think I owe them my knowledge, in the same way that like girls, if you go out on a date and the guy thinks that you owe him a kiss or you owe him a hug or you owe him a fuck or you owe him whatever. Like, no, that's not actually how it works. And I don't owe you my knowledge just because you talk to me. Just because you send me a message doesn't mean I owe you the answer to why your wrist's hurting, why you're hyperventilating, why you're having a panic attack. You might think, well, Chris, that's really harsh. And it's like, well, listen, you had 12 months to contact me. We've known each other for a long time. You know what I mean? Why are you just waiting until now? And if it's really that important, then pay me. It's not like you don't have 125. Show me that you're committed. People think that like it's overpriced. Do you realize how much I over deliver? Like I need you to pay so that you actually practice. If you don't pay, you're not going to do what I tell you to do. And then you're going to say that the knowledge didn't work. And it's no, you didn't work actually. You get that? And you're only going to work when you got skin in the game, when it almost hurts to pay. Do you know how much money I've paid to be trained in so many things? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd amount almost. But look where I am. Look where I am. Here, let me show you St. Lucia, guys. Let me show you where I am because I paid someone $3,000 once. I paid a guy $3,500 to train me for 12 hours. You get how much money that is? It was 3 years ago. Shit, I paid for college education. That's like $140,000 for a fucking PhD that I don't even use except to brag to people that I'm a yoga teacher with a PhD. Oh, what's it in? Oh, it's just engineering. It's the dumb kind of engineering. So this is what paying people for training you does. Is you get really good at communication and sales and your craft, and then you fucking go to St. Lucia to train people. Okay. So that's that. I think that was basically my idea about it. I'm gonna go train now, some physical training. I don't see any typed questions. Angelica, ha ha ha. Truth, good, awesome, guys. Hope you liked it. Share it. Subscribe to my program. Tonight we're gonna go over some alchemy and some more language patterns, and then I'll give you a breathing practice that I've been using a lot, confined spaces, like I was just on a plane for 9 hours. You're going to want to know this breathing technique if you ever find yourself stressing or overwhelmed with emotions when you're in a public space, that you don't want to make it so obvious and apparent that you're breathing like consciously. It sounds weird when you like take deep breaths around people, like it communicates to them that you're stressed. And maybe that's okay. But sometimes it's on an unrelated thing. Let's say you're like in a meeting, you can't leave the meeting, and the stress is not from the meeting. You're thinking about some home situation or problem, whatever. And you want to breathe to calm that down. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to leave the meeting. You make it all known and whatever. I got the breathing technique for you. So I'll see you tonight on the Silent Flute. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern. And catch you next time. How do I end this on my laptop? End stream. Namaste.